the single best thing about living in a van is also the very worst thing about living in a van or a small house.
Welcome to another episode of Exploring Happiness, where we talk about alternative lifestyle, madness, freedom, and happiness, of course, and how this all
You didn't let me sing the jingle.
Oh God!
But
Singing
it's okay.
The jingle again.
Happiness.
What? Okay. So, what some brilliant podcasts we had the last couple of times. So there was the whole one, if you haven't watched it yet, from last time, where I cried the entire time. It's definitely worth watching. And then yesterday we had our brilliant, amazing friend from Bali, Mark from The Onion, on, and that we had some technical issues, but anyway, the interview was completely amazing, and we will put the whole interview up soon on YouTube, and I think it's worth watching many times. There's so many good lessons in there. He's such a
golden quote after golden quote after golden quote, and I will start posting these quotes to our Instagram channel and also to Facebook. It's like short 30-second clips of just brilliance.
Yeah, and I think so I will say, if you feel like out of flow, feel like you're not really living your purpose and feeling stuck and somehow lost somehow, it's the interview to go to.
Yeah, definitely. Right? And if you say to yourself, maybe it's too late for me to change my life around, definitely the interview to watch.
You're never too old, man.
Never too old. Never too old to become a rock star. Just ask Mark.
Okay. So we got a great
question.
Yeah, I'm just gonna read it out loud, and you should see the screenshot. Oh, that's not the one. We got a great question we're gonna answer today, because that's what you do with questions. You answer them. From Ida, and she's asking, what are the best and worst thing about living your lifestyle? Awesome question, Ida. Thank you so much. And so just to recap a little bit, we are living in a van, and we've been traveling for many, many years, and escape 9 to 5. We have our online businesses, so we just need internet connection to survive. And so she means that kind of lifestyle.
That kind of lifestyle. Even before living in a van, we also lived in, when we travel, we live in small rooms, hotels, bungalows.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever you rent, wherever you are. So
give us a like. I can see somebody's on.
Someone's
give
on.
Us a heart.
Throw it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I like hearts. So Jens, Mr. Jens, can I ask the question first for you?
You ask me one question first.
That's just, what is the word? What is the best? I don't know. What is the best and worst thing living in a van? I cannot decide, because it's
okay.
Interesting, because like you said, it's
so the single best thing about living in a van is also the very worst thing about living in a van or a small house or whatever, that you are together with your partner all the time, 24/7. You don't have separate rooms. You don't go out to your separate jobs. You are just together always. And it is, of course, the best thing, because who else gets to spend so much time with someone they love and want to be with all the time? And you have the ability to generate ideas and create together and do together and have a podcast thing together, and that's so amazing. And it forces you to work on all your issues straight away. But it's also can be quite a struggle, because you really need to be aware of your own space and what your own wishes in a different way. You can't do any. You can't. You need to put yourself first in a different way to know when you need a break, when you need to go outside, when you need to have some room to breathe.
Exactly. I think what he's getting at is you have, because I think that goes for everything in all relationship, because you are still your own person. You still have your own dreams, your own hobbies, your own life you want to live. Yes, we love traveling, and we love to travel in the van and visit different places, and we love to eat all the food we can get near and taste the world. But we're so different when it comes to our hobbies and what we like to explore there. So I think it's very important to remember to do those things. So when we lived in Thailand, for example, Jens went off to Muay Thai camp for 1 month, and I went to a little island, Koh Phangan, and did yoga and drank coffee and met a lot of amazing women out there. Alex Pierce. Okay. Was that too much?
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, but you're completely right. You just really need to be aware of what you want to do all the time. So you can take that choice, because your partner's not going to take it for you.
Yeah. So,
But
and
that's also a good thing, actually.
and then you have to compromise a lot, because sometimes I want to do things, and then Jens has to come with me because we live in this house, and it's so then he has to compromise and come with me if I want to do something, and then I have to compromise the other way around, right? Yeah. The next one.
Yeah. The next question. The next.
There's no
so
more
let me
questions.
ask you. What do you think is the worst thing about living in a van?
Talking about the toilet again.
Toilet situation?
No, for me it's actually the the weather, not having always a shower, and not being able to do, because I really like to do my yoga, I like to do my exercise and run and stuff, and this means that I need to have a shower after, because people like when I'm clean.
Otherwise she stinks a little bit.
Yeah, and you don't want that. And so that is always a little bit an issue, because you have to be a little more planned. You can't always be as free as you want. But I also think it also hasn't been that a big issue anymore. It was in the beginning, figuring all this out, because you always need to have the tank full, the toilet emptied, and all that stuff. So that is by far the worst thing. But also, again, I am agreeing with Jens that you don't always have this time and space for you. So even this morning I went for a run and to the waterfall, and I just sat there for 20 minutes with myself on my own to get that space. And I was not a slow runner. I thought you probably thought I was a slow runner this morning, but
no, Niki's fast, so fast.
So I like to do that, and so that is by far the worst thing. And we have had also a good conversation with our neighbor just before we went on here, because then we asked, what is the best thing? And she was saying freedom. That
was the first thing to say. I can almost read it out, what she says. So she says, well, the best thing, and we completely agree, it's freedom. It's the freedom to wake up in a new place every day, to listen to the birds and be one with nature. And it's the whole concept of slow living.
Yeah, and
not needing to hurry anywhere.
What I liked also what she said, I don't need music. I have the sound of the birds.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't know even if you can hear it now, but that is so true, because she lived such a busy life before she came out in the van, and she's just, enjoying herself, enjoying nature. We actually have one of her dogs with us right now. We can't see him. Maybe we can do it in the end. Just show a picture of the cutest dog in the world.
Camera.
But she's so right. It's the freedom, and I will say, because of the whole lockdown in the beginning of the year in Portugal, it was really cold. We rented an Airbnb, and we stayed with some amazing, lovely people in a beautiful house. But at the end of it, I was missing the movement and the freedom.
Yeah, you are so much more in nature and outside when you do live in a small space.
Yeah.
You tend to the days where you normally sit in the couch, or the days you would watch movies or whatever. Here you're outside and you're with people and you talk to people and but it's people everywhere when we travel like this. Go on.
Because the best thing is, what I think is the best thing, like Team Baril, anyways. But so a few weeks ago, you went on a little retreat together with Ollie and Samantha in south of Portugal. So I had the van for myself for a weekend, and I went to the beach, and I was seeing those dogs came at me and barking at me, and the owner was so nice, Valerie, and we got to talk. She is traveling alone in her van with her 2 dogs, and
now she's traveling with us.
Now, I got to know her, and she was going to another place. I was picking up Jens, and then we wanted to visit her again. I wanted to introduce her to Jens so they could get to know each other. And then at the gate, the place where we were going to stay was not opened, so the Germans came. And they stopped the van, sat down. We all had coffee and tea, and suddenly amazing friendship just built. And I think that is what I love. This about you meet people when you're busy in life. Normally in Sønderborg, where we're from, you don't meet new people. You don't get new inputs.
No.
You don't have like new cultures because we both from Germany, Belgium, Denmark, and I love that the most.
Yeah, the different cultures are so fascinating to be in this, and all of us on the road here tend to take things very easily.
Yeah.
No one is in a hurry, and everyone has so much understanding for each other's things and space. Like they have children over there, and Valerie's alone with 2 dogs, and me and Niki just have each other. But we all have our own way of doing things, and everyone is just leaning back, very understanding, but also very happy to spend time with you if you want to talk, or exercise with Niki if she wants to beat someone half to death.
I was screaming at Valerie yesterday, I tell you. Anyways.
But Valerie said the most annoying thing for her was the toilet situation. You have to empty the toilet and make sure the water tank is full. And that is something you take for granted when living in a house, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think about that because the water just comes into the house and the toilet just goes into the septic tank.
But at the same time, I feel like it makes me really humble. Like I appreciate
it's humbling, yeah.
Yeah, when you win. Because what I also want to add to this come together. Just wait for my point. But sometimes you can also, when you live in a van, you can just rent a house if you need stabilizing for 1 month or something. And when you then go in there, oh my God, you appreciate the shower. You appreciate the oven if they have one. And just having everything in its place, and you don't have to move all the time. So it's pro and cons.
We do that when we are really tired of it. Then if we just like, it's been raining nonstop for a week.
Yeah,
and
it's cold as fuck.
It's cold and everything is shit. Then we rent an Airbnb. Yeah. For a week or a month.
Nothing is set in stone.
Nothing. And it's not like we are hardcore van lifing. You can only live in the van, and you have to. What do you mean? What do you want to say? You have to stay in the van because it's what you chose. You know, don't be like that. Not supposed to say what anyone should be like, but don't be so set in stone on the way you do things. Don't be too fancy to just book an Airbnb if you want, or a hotel room.
Yeah, I think that is something I learned about this lifestyle, is being fluent, like going with the flow, and just because you had one kind of mindset at one time, you can change it. Right, Kento? Yeah. And rent an Airbnb, have some luxury, and get a hotel room, get a shower, you know. But at the place where we now, you know, there's showers.
Yeah, and you're so happy with going to the shower. It's not a warm shower, but when the sun has been shining all day on the tubes, and maybe you went for a run or something, it's fantastic to have like a cool, fresh shower. And we just appreciate it, and that's why we've been here for quite a while, actually, because it has everything nearby. We feel like we live in a city, and we do live in a city, but it's on a campground, and is this blowing away?
No, it's okay.
It's okay. And we just, it's just so awesome. This is just the opportunities that you get when you do live like this, when you do choose to just go out.
I have one thing more, can't handle it, but you can be yourself.
Yeah.
You can be yourself. I think you have to listen to the podcast with Mark from yesterday, but you can, when you go out in the van or you travel or wherever you do, the people you meet don't know your history. Come on, Kento.
That's so true.
Yeah, and so you can just, nobody is judging you. Sorry for that. Kenzo.
But no one is judging you for who you were, or no one is interacting with you based on who who you are or what you did before. They are only basing all their interactions and ideas about you from what they've just seen in the past 5 minutes when you meet them. Not so every time you go somewhere, you almost have a chance to create yourself new. So say here we have been a certain way. If we go somewhere else and we meet someone, if there was something about ourselves that we said, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be that person.
Yeah.
Then the next time you go somewhere, you just don't do that. You just change that. Here's Gento. You just.
But it's really brilliant what you're saying.
Yeah,
right
you can. I'm being licked on by a dog at the same time as I'm saying this. So every time you just change it. You don't have to, and the people you meet don't know that you once were like that, or once said that, or once acted that way. And actually, the same goes for this podcast, because I edit these after we talk, so I'm forced to look at myself all the time. And every time I do something that I find annoying, I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that next podcast.
Yeah, true.
It's quite
You're
interesting.
not annoying. You're so lovely, Jens.
The dog is.
But again, I think it's something also what my dad said when I moved to Bali the first time. He said to me, you can't run away from your problems. You are the problem. And it's really true that I am my own problem. But and I have to figure it out for myself. But what you can do when you travel and go to new places and see new places, you can choose who you want to become and want to be. So you can. So having a new tribe and having a new place to be and really can change your life completely.
Completely.
Sorry, a little bit distracted by the dog. Did you move the camera?
So they could see the dog.
Ah.
I'll move it back up.
Yeah.
I have a dog hair in my mouth also.
That's perfect. But anyway, so I think one of the best thing also I want to say is that you become much closer to your partner. We talked about a little bit about the relationship. It's you have to resolve things quicker. You have to. I'm just gonna leave the dog out, Jens. I think it needs to pee. Can you just?
I will take over. The relationship. Niki will go into that a bit more when she comes back. But I think, let's just take one of the annoying things is the constant packing down and packing back up.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you have to move the car, or when you have to go move the car to get water or something, you have to pack everything down. And you can't drive. You can drive a short, 100 meters without putting everything back in space. But more than that, everything falls down, and we call it the Tivoli bus, because everything rattles and scrattles and moves around. So packing and unpacking can be a little bit, but you get really good at it.
Yeah, and then the sneaky drawer comes out because it's not.
Yeah, we have a sneaky drawer that doesn't stay in place, that always moves out. Yeah.
And another thing
you said the relationship. You want to finish that, or?
Yeah, I don't remember what that was for. But again, you just become closer.
Yeah.
We're not talked about in the podcast with Mark. You're not so separated. We in our big apartment, we lived almost separate lives.
Yeah.
And not really being intimate and talking and having the same sweet relationship as we have now. I want to say another thing that is really amazing about living this way is you spend less money.
A lot less money. You can't just go out and buy shit.
No, we
not
don't
possible.
have space for it.
There's no. If you want something new, you have to throw something out.
Yeah.
So we live very minimalistically, and that is actually well cool.
It's so cool. Even if we had this, Jens wanted this. Oh no, I wanted the whole podcast set. We're still on. Sorry. It's just Valerie looking for her dog. Yeah, and we had to figure out how do we make space for this, and we managed then to reorganize. But again, it's a much more freeing life because you live off less as well, so you don't spend so much money on rent and all the other stuff that comes with it. And electricity is free for us, water is free for us.
It's a lot cheaper than living in an apartment or a house.
Yeah. And you don't go and buy just because you're bored or something like that, because there's no space for stuff.
No.
It's already, we have a lot.
You buy a new T-shirt, you throw an old one out. That's just the rule of the van, of the tin can.
I'm breaking the rules sometimes. You didn't
You
know
should
that.
show them your closet,
No.
and then they will see. Oh snap! And then we show them mine, nice and neat.
Yeah, it's just because I forced you to make it nice and neat. Anyways.
So maybe.
But I will never in my life go back to just having an apartment and do the same thing over and over again every day. Like, I don't know how the saying go, but it's like living the same life 90 years, or you're living different lives 90 times, or something like that. You understand it?
I get what you mean. I think
Yeah.
the viewers get what you mean too.
Yeah.
I mean, just don't live a boring life. I said it before. I'll say it again. You need to live a life that you would love to read a book about.
Oh, that's a good one. You never said that before.
I said that before.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh. You're so intelligent. But I think did we catch on everything? Because
I think we did. Let me just check this last thing. Yeah, well, it's also the sleeping spots. But that's mostly van life specific.
Yeah.
Whereas if you have a bungalow or a small house or small space or tiny house, then you don't worry about sleeping spots. But it can be a bit annoying here to. You get somewhere and you planned on staying there, and then you find out that there's no place for you to park the van or sleep there, or maybe the park is closed or so that can be frustrating because it's not nice to sleep on like a supermarket.
No, that's not why you do van life. But I think, so in England it was really difficult to find a place where you could sleep because you're not allowed to do anything and while parking anything, and and
So
then
a final annoying thing is when it's bad weather, because then you have to sit in here and
look at each other,
which is nice, but
no, when it's raining, with the weather is bad, and because the thing is you don't have like any because when you have an apartment there's a lot of things to do in there. You can clean, you can reorganize stuff, or you can do, but in a van it's everything set, everything has its place, so you don't have you don't do that.
That's almost the only thing we can do is make hot chocolate and
make
the bed downstairs and watch a movie.
Or work a little bit more if
or work
to.
That's it.
But overall I love this lifestyle. It's so full of freedom, and all the bad things cannot, like, it's just not.
It's
worse
completely worth the small issues that come up with it, and I will never ever live a normal regular life again. I've lived too many boring lifestyles, and it's not gonna happen.
No, and the same like Valerie's saying, she quit everything. She was actually just here on a holiday, and then she called home in March and said, I'm not coming back. And now she's buying land here in Portugal, and we're gonna help her build a beautiful, amazing space here.
We're gonna build an amazing space with
where you can come,
room for campers, room for tents. There's gonna be a retreat space, yoga space, also for ceremonies and things like that. And we're gonna build a cafe in an old caravan, me and Niki, and it's gonna be super cool.
And I think if you like, there's nothing wrong or right in this life. You just have to figure out what fits your personality the best. And I think if you liked adventure and doing different stuff, and this is just an amazing lifestyle, and if you like security and that things are the certain way, the same way every day, the same, then
stay in a house or an apartment.
And I think what we don't realize in this life is that everybody in every country lives differently. And if you don't feel like the way the country you're from fits your needs and meets your needs, there is different ways to do it differently. You can be a server dude in Thailand if you want to. It's so cheap.
And I wanted to just reflect on that real quick. If you want to try something like van life, you don't have to buy a big camper van and spend all your money on renovating it. You can just buy a old Peugeot Partner or a Citroën Berlingo and just put a mattress in the back and hit the road. I mean, just try the freedom of it, and then you can always decide and improve and optimize. I think
it's start on perfectly.
Don't wait for everything to be perfect, or for the perfect van, or for the perfect anything. And don't watch 10 YouTube videos with someone who live amazing YouTube lifestyles and then think that you can do that. Being a YouTuber is probably the hardest work you can do. We've seen many people trying and many people doing, and oh my god, do they spend a lot of time in front of their computers.
Yeah, and I think also that is one advice: get a job online in a certain way, so you have your income ready when you're hitting the road or you're traveling.
You can always build on these things later, like having a podcast or start making YouTube videos and all that.
I will definitely also say, like, when you look at Instagram and YouTube, like you just said, it's not that romantic.
I haven't really seen it that way as they present it.
No, it's nice and beautiful, but this is definitely perfectly parked shots, and the women always look amazing, and the men are always trimmed.
Six packs and booties.
Yeah, they definitely they pull up there and park their vans like this, and then there's the other ones that didn't have a shower for 3 days, and
we see more of them.
Yeah, all of them actually. You all have a little own odeur.
On that note, should we call it off?
Yeah, I hope we got your question answered, Ida, and thank you so much for asking the question.
And anyone else have any questions, fire away in the comments. Don't forget to like, don't forget to follow our page, and if you want some more friendly community, join our little Exploring Happiness Collective group, and share your ideas and thoughts.
Yeah, and if you want anybody on again, like Anna, Mark, or even Valerie, let us know, because we all have different lifestyles, and I think it's also amazing to have people on here.
Interesting. Or if you want to be on.
If you want to be on,
let us know. We want you on.
And now, if you're following somebody who you find is very interesting, we can contact them and put them on the podcast, and we can interview them with your questions. Endless possibilities, Jens.
Endless possibilities.
But we are saying au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye bye.
Bye. Tschüss.
Tschüssi. Moin.
Moin and peace and love.
Peace and love. And we need more. We need to learn more European languages so we can throw a goodbye in all languages.
We could probably do one in Portuguese.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Adios.
No.
Adios.
Obrigada.
Thank you.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Adios.
Moin.
Too hard, chase